somewhere between your parents' dinner table and your first paycheck. You absorbed a financial gospel. Renting is setting money on fire. Buying a house is how you build wealth. It sounds like wisdom. It feels like wisdom. It's mostly wrong. Before you come for me, I own a home. I've also rented. I've done the math both ways, and the math has opinions. Let me share them. Let's skip straight to the real goal. You don't want a mortgage. You want options, the freedom to chase a better job, move for your kid's school, travel for a year, or invest when the market hands you a discount. You want a life that feels stable and a portfolio that's actually growing. Those two things can coexist. The problem is when people smash them into one zip code and call it a financial strategy. Here's the lens I use. Use assets versus investment assets. A use asset rewards you by being there, your car, your furniture, your home. An investment asset rewards you by paying you cash flow, dividends, compounding returns. Your primary residence is a use asset. It pays you in hot showers, Sunday mornings, and a place to hang your kids' terrible finger paintings. That's real value. It's just not the same as a Vanguard index fund quietly turning $1 into $7 while you sleep. Mixing them up is where the expensive myth lives. Here's what the homeownership equals wealth forgets to mention. Your house doesn't pay your rent. It charges you rent in mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, and a maintenance budget that ignores your feelings. Roofs fail on their own schedule. HVAC systems don't care about your emergency fund. Add it up honestly, and the ongoing costs quietly eat most of the appreciation headline you brag about at dinner. Then there's the exit problem. Selling a house costs 5 to 7% in fees. While you're finding a buyer, your capital is frozen. And you're not diversified. You're betting your entire net worth on one address in one neighborhood in one local economy. A factory closes, a school rezones, a highway gets rerouted. Suddenly your investment moved for reasons no national average predicted. This isn't a horror story. It's just the honest picture people skip when they're in love with a porch. Let's make it real. A $400,000 home, 20% down, $80,000, 6.5% mortgage. Your actual monthly cost, mortgage, taxes, insurance, maintenance, runs about $2,925. Not $2,025. Not just the mortgage, $2,925. A comparable rental? $2,200. You're paying approximately $725 more per month, plus your $80,000 down payment is locked inside walls. After 10 years of 3% appreciation, you sell and net roughly $155,000 on that down payment. Sounds great. But the renter invested that $80,000 in index funds at 7% average returns. That alone becomes $157,000 before they invest the monthly savings. Add those contributions and the renter finishes the decade with around $282,000. The home often loses the pure wealth-building race. It still might win the life race. That's the real point. Know which race you're running. But leverage, yes, borrowed money amplifies gains. It also amplifies losses and concentrates your entire financial life into a single illiquid bet. That's a different risk profile than a diversified portfolio where no single company can sink you. But forced savings? Also, yes, a mortgage makes you build equity because the bank makes you. If you struggle to save without a rule, this genuinely helps. But if you're disciplined, automated index fund investing does the same thing with better liquidity, less risk, and no plumbing. There's a simple test. Would this property make sense if you didn't live in it? If a duplex pays rent while you occupy one unit, it's passing cash flow through your life. That's an investment. If a rental property covers its costs and produces income for a stranger, it belongs in the investment bucket. But a house you live in, whose numbers only work because you're not counting your own shelter cost, That's a use asset with good PR. Before buying, add up the real annual cost to own, mortgage interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance budget, 1% of home value per year, minimum. Compare it to renting something similar. Divide the home price by annual rent to get the price-to-rent ratio. Ratio under 15? Buying might make sense. Ratio over 20? You're probably overpaying for the privilege of owning. Check your timeline. Under 7 years, renting almost always wins once you account for transaction costs. Over 10, lifestyle factors can tip the scale. Either way, keep investing. Buy the house and automate a monthly index fund contribution. Rent the apartment and invest the gap plus your would-be down payment. Both roads lead to wealth only if you stay on the road. The goal was never the deed. The goal was a life that feels stable and a portfolio that works while you're living it. Put use assets in the life bucket. Put investments in the wealth bucket. Stop asking your couch to earn a yield. Your future self cares less about whether you had a backyard fire pit and more about whether you owned a slice of thousands of businesses compounding for decades. Get that part right. Everything else gets easier. Drop a comment. What's the price-to-rent ratio in your market? And how long do you actually plan to stay? The numbers might surprise you.